Hi everyone, number one Marmaduke fan here, and we are looking at what I guess are canon Star Wars comics for the new Disney era Star Wars universe. Got into the Star Wars comics in 2017, like around issue 35 or so. And there were, with the exception of a couple issues that I enjoyed and thought were good little short stories, the Star Wars comics were some of the worst purchases I made last year. I don't know why I kept buying them, except it's Star Wars and I like Star Wars. And I finally gave up around 50, where I concluded that the Rebel Alliance was stupid, they're scum, and they deserve to be destroyed. Meaning that in a narrative, it's hard for me to be invested in characters who keep making really dumb, really obvious mistakes that allow them to get railroaded, because then I'm not invested. I'm invested if it feels like they actually have a fighting chance and they ask dumb questions anyone should ask. Now, I've gone back in time to the Great True Believers series, $1 comics, and these were both good. There are some little problems in Rebel Jail that I'll talk about. But basically, I think Jason Aaron started off really strong. So strong that I'm actually going to read the rest of these to kind of get a feel for this whole story arc. And then I'll let you know when to dip out. I'm amazed by how many channels there are just discussing stuff that little like, oh, top 10 little things that happened in the Star Wars canon universe. Okay, well, I don't know if I'm ever going to do that kind of video. But I would like to see how long it stays this good so I can let you know this is good, dip out around here, because here's where the annoying characters without any flaws or any weaknesses starts getting obnoxious. But True Believers #1, Skywalker Strikes, which is book 1 part 1, excellent comic. I'll have a couple little quibbles, but an excellent comic, absolutely exciting. Everything a Star Wars comic should be is picking up right after A New Hope ends, which is a fascinating era, because Darth Vader doesn't know that Luke's his son yet, right? So there's a lot of interesting gaps to fill between Episode 4 and Episode 5. Now, here's a quibble. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, 2 pages for Star Wars, and then the title crawl. That is 4 pages of information without an exciting image. At the very least, have a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Star Wars, and then this, okay? Because the thing is, the reason this works in the movies is that you see the graphics zoom out and you hear the exciting score, which I guess you can imagine in your head, but you cannot reproduce that in comic book format. You have to use the comic book medium for what comic books are good at. Okay, so one annoying thing. This is a recommend. This is a really good comic for $1. Absolutely. Classic, spaceship flying overhead to get us into the mood of things. So neat thing #1 is that Han Solo does some actual brassy stuff. In later comics, I had the quibble that Captain Staros, well, how do you know she's such a smart, cool smuggler? Because she says she's super smart, and everyone is amazed by her and her negotiation skills, even though what she's doing doesn't make any sense and they could kill her at any time and she doesn't have any leverage in the situation. So the reason Han Solo is doing a better job in this scene is he isn't like Mr. Perfect, I'm smarter than everybody, I'm always 2 steps ahead of everybody, I've got a contingency plan for everything guy. He's clearly just brassing this out and flying by the seat of his pants because he's a known associate of Jabba the Hutt, and the Empire is desperate to get weapons, so they're willing to work with Jabba the Hutt. And there's this cool little game theory stuff where the Empire says, you're going to take what we say you can take, and Han Solo just kind of points out, hey, you guys must be pretty desperate, right? And they tell him to wait for the negotiator, which is a good little setup for what happens later. The other good thing I like about this comic is it actually contains drawings. Like later comics were Sonic the Hedgehog the movie trailer bad, where it was clearly just like a photo of Harrison Ford plopped onto a 5-second sketch of his body in armor and then a little Photoshop smudge effect to make it look painted. Yeah. Now let me look at the artist for this, because I want to give some props to the artist. Oh, it's at the very end because they're weird. They put the credits at the end. So John Cassidy as the artist, not just the penciler, but penciler and inker. Okay, I want there to be a penciler and an inker so that they actually have time to do everything, right? So good on you, John Cassidy, for actually drawing their faces. It's pretty clear that John Cassidy uses 3D models. Maybe Disney requires them to, but he also does a good job of kind of disguising that and illustrating over that so it looks like a drawing. The only problem I had was sometimes, I don't know, like I wish like he could like, even if you have to use 3 models just to get it done, be creative, like squash and stretch it. Find an interesting angle, and then I don't know, make it a little bit more dynamic than the Google SketchUp 3D model thing allows you to see. Depart from it a little bit. Imagine it's stretching, or that it's being viewed at an extreme fisheye angle or something. Bring some of that, bring some flair into it, so I don't just imagine a little toy. Actually, they used to use toys for this kind of thing before they had 3D models, but add some of your own warmth to it. The faces were pretty good. I thought there were a couple where maybe it looked like I could kind of see, Carrie Fisher looking face, where it looked like they kind of like paused on a screenshot in the movie and tried to draw that. But look, that's a good little surprise expression. Good job, John Cassidy. This is miles and miles better than some of the later Star Wars comics. Now this pose, just kind of like ramrod straight. It's at a Dutch angle to make it look a little bit more dramatic, which is a good trick to make something a little feel more dynamic than it actually is. But come on, he's rescuing a bunch of slaves. Give him some energy. Look at this Darth Vader, just I want to feel like Darth Vader's about to step on me and then flip me into the ceiling and kill me instantly. Like that last scene of Rogue One, that was amazing. I watched the last scene of Rogue One on repeat over and over again because that just captures the impact of this character on film. So in comics, since you don't have like the John Williams score and you don't have the fast cuts, you've got to add some warmth. Now there's a great scene later where like Darth Vader, he's getting shot at by Chewie and he lifts up some stormtroopers because he's ruthless. That's some great fighting stuff. And then Chewie has to jump off the thing as Darth Vader collapses it on him. This is great Star Wars stuff. Yes, good job, Jason Aaron. And then I guess I'll spoil it because this is a recommend. It's not a big spoiler. So Luke hears Ben communicating to him. Luke, listen to me carefully. Run. One word. And Darth Vader's there, and there's the Dutch angle. That is great stuff. That is the Star Wars feeling. That's exactly what a Star Wars comic needs to have. This is an adequate comic. So I mentioned a few little like annoying things that bugged me. If all the Star Wars comics were this level of quality, I'd just be raving about this because this would be giving me the Star Wars feeling I've been wanting but haven't been finding in the new trilogy. Now, True Believers Rebel Jail, which is Chapter 4, Part 1, this starts to foreshadow some of the problems I would have with the series later. So it's still good. It's still very Star Wars-y, but I'm going to show you a couple things which sort of show the problem. Okay, this is good. Condense all that stuff. I'd still like an image on the front page because it's a comic book of like Luke bursting forth or something. But if you want to do like the Star Wars title crawl thing, I guess that's an okay way to start a Star Wars book. Get it down to one page and no more than that. So this punch, shoot, I can't really show you on my hand. I tried punching my own hand like this, and the problem is Afra is punching him with these instead of with her knuckles, which means if you punch someone like that, see what your fingers do? They bend into your palm. If you punch someone like that, it makes this nice slapping sound because you've got this great surface. Good job on making Dr. Afra punch like a girl, Marvel. And I don't know. So this is part 4, so obviously I'm skipping a chunk of it. This is one of the earliest comics I've read with Dr. Afra and Captain Staros, and I just had a completely unpleasant taste in my mouth for these characters in later issues. They didn't feel like they fit. They felt like they were just like saying, hey, what if Han Solo was a black lady? We're so original. And then not giving them any substance or... Yeah, Mary Sue. I'm hesitant to say Mary Sue because some morons have claimed that calling a character Mary Sue somehow proves you're sexist. It's not sexist. It's a good feminist argument to say I want the female characters to struggle. I don't want them to automatically win at everything. And that was Captain Staros' problems in later issues. Whoa, look at that. Hey there, Lemuel Yu and Gary Helen Gillen. Nice drawing you got there. I dig it. I think you guys knew what you were doing there. No days. So, I don't know. These are some of my quibbles. Like, Starro shows up and grabs her arm, and I guess she's supposed to be sweeping her leg, but it just looks like she hooked her arm from behind, and it doesn't make sense how she's twisting her around at all. That wasn't the annoying bit. The annoying bit was when... she was talking to Leia and saying, oh, well, that'll cost you extra, which could be like a funny little bit for a smuggler. She does little extra jobs for Princess Leia and says, that's going to cost you extra. Does it still cost me extra if you get us killed? No, but you yelling at me will definitely be on the bill. I sure hope your little doc here is worth all this. So that is a joke, but it's just not cool. Like, you know what a cool smuggler guy does? A cool smuggler guy, he walks into the Empire. And I forgot this. He showed the Empire his face, and now the Empire knows that Han Solo is with the Rebellion. They didn't know that before. That's ballsy. I use that word advisedly, on purpose. It's not just Han Solo being amazing and super duper cool and smarter than everybody. He flies by the seat of his pants. He does something risky that is of great personal risk to him, continuing his character arc. Their way of making Starro seem super duper cool is she's tough and a tough negotiator and whatever. And this is just like prissy. Like, that's a line you deliver after you like shoot someone who's about to kill Princess Leia, and then you blow the smoke away and you say that's going to cost you extra. It's not after she asks you like a question or, you're yelling at me, you're hurting my feelings. If you want her to be a tough action smuggler, then she's got to not let facts don't care about your feelings. If you're a badass space smuggler, all right. This guy, he jokes that, I can't wait to see Darth Vader. We'll put him in prison. That's a great setup. Darth Vader's obviously going to kill you and blow up this entire prison because the Rebel Alliance are scum and idiots and they don't know how to fight a war. That could have been a great setup for something. And this guy, all right, I don't know who this guy is, but they're going to break into the Sun prison, which is a cool idea because they've got a sun behind them, so the Empire can't light speed jump right behind them or they'll hit a sun. That's great. And then the robot says, "Oh, sir, you realize we have a minuscule margin of error? There are all worse ways to die. Believe me, I've seen them all. Let's move out." Oh, that's so cool. A mysterious bounty hunter with one glowing eye, and he's seen a bunch of death, and he's seen it all. That is Star Wars stuff. That's how you establish a tough, badass Star Wars style smuggler character. Not,
"Oh, yelling at me. I'm going to charge you extra for hurting my feelings." Yeah.
There's some like comment. I don't know about that face. But good art, and it's drawn. There you go. If it's not photoshopped on top of an awful little quick sketch, and it's clearly you just copied and pasted that out of a screenshot from the movie, I dig it. I guess I'm lowering my standards a bit for new Star Wars comics, but this is pretty good. Look, surprise expression, worried lines around his mouth. I dig it. And they make a point of having Han Solo be a tough guy, but he makes mistakes and he's not as good as he thinks he is sometimes. Yeah, they have Han Solo be a tough guy who's a bit behind the eight ball, makes dumb mistakes. They needed to, you can't just copy paste that and have an original character. But Star Wars style smugglers, they need to have chutzpah, meaning they actually have to work at it. Outsmarting someone means that they're not just smarter than anyone they walk into the room with. Outsmarting someone means using your resources in a creative way to take out a bigger enemy. Where was I going with this? Okay, so there's this great daring burst in where they're gonna burst into the jail with the sun. That's cool stuff. All right, so Chapter 4, Book Part 1, still cool. I'm starting to see the problems that would later affect the series, which is Doc Aphra and Captain Starros dumping on the characters who we love and respect, Leia, mostly Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, rather than building them up as characters in their own right who actually have flaws and weaknesses and struggles. That was what affected the later Star Wars books. This is excellent. This is an excellent Star Wars book. So I'm going to finally sit down and just read this series, and I will tell you when I can't take it anymore and I've got to dip out. But based on the strength of this one, I'm going to give it a shot. That's enough. Oh, and one of these days I'm going to review this ridiculous thing from Legends. Oh my God, this is going to be a blast to review. But that's for another day. I'm Normal Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Click the bell to receive notifications. Click the description to support me on Subscribestar, the better alternative to Patreon. I love all of my Super Chat donators. I love my subscribers on Subscribestar. I love you guys. I will catch you later. May the 4th be with you.